should I keep it off?
Keep it off.
Okay. So, chapter 2 is bacteria and viruses. And this is what we just read. Too bad.
Wait, I can't see it.
Okay. Bacteria are microscopic. Who can tell me what that is? You have to use a microscope. So we cannot see it right now. And they are unicellular, uni means one. And they're organisms that lack a nuclear membrane. The bacteria are in two different kingdoms, the eubacteria and the archaebacteria. Bacteria can live on land, in water, and in the air. So they are everywhere. They live in and on both living and dead plants and animals. Most bacteria are heterotrophs, which means that they cannot make their own food.
Wait, don't have to take all that done.
It doesn't have to be word for word because it's all in your book, and you should read your book. So get the gist of it. Go on in about 5 seconds. So finish up your line. This is a picture of bacteria on a pinpoint. So here's your pin that you sew with, super, super tiny, under the microscope, and even more. These are the bacteria. So they can get everywhere, and they're super tiny. These are the different shapes. Cocci is round over the top picture, and then the bacilli are rod-shaped, and those are the ones that were just on the needle, on the pinpoint. Spirilla are the spiral-shaped ones. They kind of look like a little snake. The flagella, they kind of have like little hair-like structures, and they use those to get around. So they said that they can be in water, and they can kind of get around in the water with the flagella. Bacteria is made up of a thick cell wall that encloses and protects the cellular material. So I'll give you just a minute here to do this one. There's your cell wall right here. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do we have to take notes, or can we just follow along?
I want you to take notes, and I want you to get as much as you can.
So bacteria and cell.
Yep. This is the eubacteria. And then what was the other one? Who can remind me what was the other one? Archaeobacteria. Yep, so this one is the eubacteria. And the consumers obtain the nutrients from other organisms. Decomposers feed off the dead or organic matter. So, kind of like a fly feeds off like dead animals. Kind of like that. Parasitic invade the body of another organism to get food, and the producers make their own food through like photosynthesis. Do you guys know what photosynthesis is? Get the energy from the sun. Who wants to eat that honeydew?
What kind of nuts that is?
That's honey.
I try it. Why would you try it? I try the part that doesn't have
That's
that
apple.
No.
Hey, you should be taking notes, guys. You are still talking, so I think they're ready to go on.
Oh.
This is the Archaeobacteria, and they thrive in places where no other bacteria are found.
It's like an oil bubble.
Kind of, isn't it? There's three main types. The methane makers, which excrete methane gas found in swamps. That's probably, have you ever been by a swamp? Like that smell, they kind of stink a little bit. Heat lovers are found in the ocean, and they can live with temps over 360 degrees. The salt lovers are found in areas with large salt concentration. So maybe the ocean, maybe. So if you're taking notes, at least get methane makers, heat lovers, and salt lovers down. So write those three things, and then if you don't get the definitions, you can look them up later. Methane makers, heat lovers, salt lovers. Some bacteria live separately, and others remain together in colonies. The colonies are large groups of bacteria. So at least write down colonies. There are bacteria that live as parasites, and a parasite absorbs food material from other living organisms called their hosts. Others digest and absorb food material from living organisms, and they're called saprophytes. Bacteria are used to produce food and life-saving drugs. Bacteria are used to make cheese and pickles and yogurt, just like in the book. We talked about that. Vinegar and sauerkraut. You guys like sauerkraut? Lactic acid bacteria digest milk, sugar, lactose, and then convert it into lactic acid. So that is in milk, dairy products. By using methods of gene transplanting, bacteria have been encouraged to produce substances such as insulin. Who knows what insulin is? Sure.
It's like it decreases your blood sugar, so if it's like really high, and you like take a shot or whatever,
Who needs insulin to survive? Marie. We all do, but our bodies produce insulin, but people who have diabetes, their or it doesn't produce enough. So then they have to give themselves shots to control the blood sugar. The human intestinal tract contains millions of bacteria, and many of these bacteria help the digestive process and others produce vitamins. Probiotics. If you've ever heard of the probiotics, that's good bacteria that's in your digestive tract. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria consume nitrogen in the air and change it into a form that plants can use. Decomposers break down dead organic matter to make nutrients available again. Those are decomposers. Bioremediation is the use of bacteria and other microorganisms to change pollutants into harmless chemicals. Bioremediation.